This is part two. I was brought into the jail. Two women, police officers, had me in a room. They took all my clothes off. I blacked out. I don't know if they inserted anything in. I don't know what happened. I know I saw gloves at one point, and I blacked out, so I don't know. Then they put a police uniform on me, and no, they put it was an inmate orange uniform. Then they walked me over, still with handcuffed. I was handcuffed, yeah. So they brought me over to some place where they said that I had to take a picture, and I was like grimacing and making a face. I'm crying, snot is coming down my face. And at some point they took a picture, which I have seen, and they, to this time right now, they have not posted a picture of me coming or going. Okay, we'll get to that. And in the picture, I looked not like this at all. I looked my normal old self, but, not like this. Then they, for some reason, they were holding me up where the collar of my inmate uniform was choking me here. And snot is running down my face. And then they said something, and they were all holding my face. And I was grimacing, and snot came out of my nose. They went ballistic, lifted me up by my arms, which I have weak joints, so I'm screaming in pain. They slammed me down on the concrete face first. I have a hole in my lip here. It's healing now. And I was kicked extremely hard right here by a male's shoe. They were screaming at me, calling me names. I don't remember what the names were because I kept blacking out, but there were stars. I could see stars, and I knew this was not good. And then I was kicked right here. I have a lump. It's halfway down, so it's so many days later, so it's halfway down. Then, oh my God, I'm trying not to go back there. I'm not there, but it's hard to go through it again. So they kicked me, they punched me. I was in, I was out. Then they proceeded to put a bag on my head, and they tied it around my neck, and they pinned me down in this chair, and with the buckles and all that. And the officer that was pushing me told me that if he had a chance, he would have kicked every tooth out of my head. And then they proceeded to they had to take all my clothes, inmate clothes, off because I had peed myself. I was completely soaked with urine. They took all my clothes off, and then they transported me to this room and handed me a paper hospital gown. And I was in a room, a concrete room. I don't know how many hours because I was disorientated and I did not know what I was. I did not know. And I cried and begged for a phone call. They said I was uncooperative, and so I would not be allowed to make any kind of phone call until I cooperated. At some point, I was taken from that room, and they had me put a uniform on, and I stood in front of a judge, and my face still did not look like this. It looked like someone hit me, but no black eyes, nothing. So on the video, I still look normal. But now, remember, they have a picture of me grimacing with not one mark on my face. At the judges, you can see something happened, but not this. Within a few hours after, they took my clothes back and put me back in the room with the paper cape, which kept tearing. And so at one point, I only had 2-inch shreds that I kept trying to tie together to cover my nipples and my body. And when I would ask for another one, and they said, no, you've already had enough today. And the one sheriff woman said, you're covering up just fine with that mattress, because that's the only thing movable in the entire room was a thin mattress. I don't know how long I was there, but I begged for hours to please let me call my children, who were 8 and 9. They refused to let me call, and at one point, they told me because I wouldn't eat the disgusting, it's not food, it's dog. Dogs are treated better. I finally saw my face, and I lost my mind again. And so I'm mentally ill. Now I have not had my medication. I'm traumatized. I kept asking to go to the hospital. I thought they broke my nose. They then transferred me after a certain amount of time to another solitary confinement ward. And they kept me there telling me I couldn't have they took my glasses, I couldn't see. And they said I couldn't have my glasses because, quote unquote, I have been uncooperative. So it ends where finally my family finds me because they refused to put me on the internet to show where I'm at. And I have captured all the documents, so if they've changed them, I have proof. I was finally released 9/41 on the 13th, okay? Only because my family found me and got me out. I then went to the hospital where I had them document all my injuries. And I may or may not have done bad by breaking the law of driving without the correct license and other things, but I did not deserve this. I did not deserve this. And I did not deserve having my rights stamped on and not be allowed to make a phone call. And I have a written piece of paper with the sheriff's signature about how when I do call, which was days after I had been here, you're in Pinellas County Jail. That's all you have to tell them. A very sarcastic, lovely piece of proof to show you how methodically they treat people. And I can tell you much, much more of what they did while I was there. They don't want you to know.